Hey y'all, it's Leslie from Leslie's Cookies and Treats, and today I'm making this adorable Scarecrow cookie. So if you want to make this along with me, I'll leave links in the description for all the products I used and where you can buy this cookie cutter. So I started by outlining and painting in the little side parts of the hat, and then I decided to paint the entire hat and do a basket weave over the top. So I just outlined it, put a little bit of icing in the middle, and I'm just using a slightly dampened paintbrush to move the icing around. And occasionally I'll have to wipe off some excess icing and get my brush damp again and wipe off the excess water and continue spreading the icing around so that I get a little thin layer of icing on the cookie. And then my icing consistency here is between a 15 to a 20-second consistency. It actually would have worked a lot better if I would have had more of a detailed consistency icing, but I'm going to go ahead and use this icing, and I'm going to have to give it some chance to set up before continuing. So I just made a line going down the middle of the bottom of the hat, and then little lines going up and down in between the lines up and down on the previous row to make it look like a basket weave effect. And you can see it better here where my hand's not going to be in the way. So I'm just going to make some rows of icing and then little lines going up and down across that row of icing. And then I'll move down to the next row and do little lines in between those first rows. And just continue doing that all the way along until the basket weave is finished. And because my icing is not as thick, I'm going to need to stop and let it set up. And so I'll be moving back up and down from the bottom of the hat to the top of the hat so that my lines of icing and my rows have a chance to set up so they don't all blend together. Again, I'm just going to continue to make rows of icing and then go over the top of them with little itty bitty lines and continue on until the entire hat is covered. And I'm going to speed the video up here because it's very repetitive, and you can just watch along and I'll join you again when I'm finished with this hat. Okay, so all of the basket weave on the hat is done, and now I'm going to outline and flood in his face. And my icing here is about a 15 to 20-second consistency again, and I'll just flood that in and then use my scribe to settle the icing down. Then I wanted some straw to be coming out from underneath the hat band, so I'm just going to put a few lines of straw here and then give him a few lines of straw on his face. And then I'm going to let it dry for about 10 minutes, let this icing crust over before I come back in and pipe some more straw over the top of the other straw. And in so doing, I can give it a little bit more dimension. And then I'm going to just flood in the center of his hat band here with some green royal icing, and I'll smooth that out with my scribe. And then I'm actually going to come back in again and give it another little line down the middle, just as kind of a decoration. And while we wait for that to set up, we'll go ahead and pipe in his nose and use my scribe to settle it down and shape it into a triangle. And for some reason today, I'm really struggling to explain to you exactly what I'm doing, but hopefully you get the idea. And if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. Words just aren't working well for me today. Now that my icing has had a chance to crust over, I'm going to add a few more strands of hair. And then I decided to outline the entire hat with my brown icing. You don't have to do this, but I like the finished look that it gave. And then I felt like it needed something in the center of this hay on his hat, so I'm just going to put a little red heart here and use my scribe to shape it and settle it down. And then I felt like it still needed something, so I'm taking my stiff green icing and a piping bag that I cut into a little V, and I'm making a couple of leaves. Then I let my cookie dry completely, and now I'm coming back in and adding a mouth and some other little details using an edible marker. I think he came out pretty cute. What do you think? Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. I have new cookie tutorials almost every day. See you later.